They were warned. The words carved into the trapdoor couldn't have been clearer. The second box is not for you. But when your entire town has vanished, when your past is torn apart by lies, warnings don't stop you. The people of Hills Valley stood at the edge of the black stairwell and stepped down into the darkness. The descent was slow, every footstep echoing against metal walls. The deeper they went, the colder the air grew, unnatural, biting. Lantern flames wavered. Children whimpered. Mothers held them close, whispering promises that everything would be all right. Fathers placed themselves at the front and back of the line, forming shields with their bodies. When they reached the bottom, the chamber opened wide before them. It was larger than the first, colossal, and lining the walls were mirrors. But these weren't ordinary mirrors. When they looked into them, they didn't see themselves as they were. They saw distorted versions, some younger, some older, some broken, blooded, or weeping, others smiling with families they had never met. A woman screamed when a reflection turned and walked away without her. The townsfolk backed away in horror. The mirrors weren't reflections. They were possibilities. A father stared into one mirror and saw himself holding 2 children, but he only had one. His wife pulled him back, tears streaming as she whispered, "That's not us. That's not real." But it felt real. Another man dropped to his knees, sobbing. His reflection showed his wife alive again. She had died years ago. Now here she was, smiling at him through glass, mouthing the words, "Come home." Neighbors rushed to his side, dragging him away as he clawed at the mirror. He screamed her name until his voice broke. All around, families held tighter to each other, terrified the mirrors would take what little they had left. Some prayed aloud, others sang hymns to drown out the whispers coming from glass. The chamber was breaking them down, and yet they pressed forward. At the center of the chamber lay something massive, a crate, sealed tight, chained and bolted. Its surface was scorched as though something inside had burned to get out. Scratched across its lid in jagged letters were the words, "Do not release them." The crowd erupted. Some begged to leave it untouched. Others argued that this, whatever it was, held the answers to Hills Valley's disappearance. Theo, voice trembling but steady, said, "We didn't come this far to turn back. We need to know." And so, with shaking hands, they began to pry the crate open. The chains clattered to the ground. The bolts groaned. The crate split open with a screech. Gasps filled the chamber. Children screamed. Mothers shielded their eyes. Inside were bodies, but not human bodies. Mannequins. Lifeless figures carved to perfection, each one an exact replica of someone in Hills Valley. A little girl spotted one that looked exactly like her mother. She clutched her real mother's hand and cried, "Don't let them take you." Her mother knelt, holding her daughter tight, swearing she would never let go. Each mannequin bore a tag, names, dates, birthdays, death days. The townsfolk realized with horror the mannequins represented their missing years. The decade they could not remember was catalogued here, preserved in lifeless shells. Silence gripped the chamber as the townsfolk stared into crate. Then something moved. A mannequin's head turned. Its glassy eyes locked onto the crowd. One by one, other heads began to shift. Fingers twitched. Jaws cracked open with dry, mechanical groans. The crate wasn't a coffin. It was a prison. The townsfolk stumbled back, clutching one another in terror. Children buried their faces in their parents' chests. And then, in the eerie stillness, one mannequin whispered in a voice not its own, "Why did you wake us?" Gasps, screams, footsteps pounding against the chamber floor. The second box wasn't meant to be opened, because what lived inside wasn't meant to be freed.